Hey guys, welcome back to One All's Pub. Well, I thought we'd take a break from knives and talk flashlights. I am a flashlight geek as well. I don't, not to the level of knife that I am with knives, but certainly I have a thing for flashlights as well. I have several that I rotate through, and I'm especially fond of the AAA size. It's just such a great EDC size. So, on the bar top in front of you is a ThruNite Ti, titanium AAA flashlight. Initially they came out with these. This is an upgraded version of their normal AAA. This is 162 lumens on high. It's got a half a lumen on low, and medium I want to say is 40. So, or maybe it's less than that. Maybe it's like 12. I don't remember now, Bert, but I know you do know. So why don't you post up the specs for me there? And I was excited to get this because, wow, a titanium light, you can get these for like $30. They came out with them around Christmas and had them in special Christmas packaging, and now they're just selling them in regular packaging. Anyway, very excited to get it because, you know, it's the size of a light I love, and it's titanium, and who doesn't love titanium? So I got this in, and very excited to get it. This is the second ThruNite I've owned. I also have, or had one in black aluminum. I gave it to my son, actually, and he managed to break it somehow. I don't know, but it won't work now. So that's what happens when you give cool EDC gear to an 11-year-old. They tend to break stuff. Anyway, I was very excited to get this one because I'm a big fan of this format, and I love the way this looks. It looks very similar to the Meritac AAA. As a matter of fact, it's almost a carbon copy, except that it's just a little bit longer, as you can see. But it's got the same style knurling, feels great in hand. Just all around presents itself as a great knife. It does. Its user interface is not my favorite, and I knew this going in, so I'm not surprised. I knew when I bought this I wasn't going to be my favorite because the other ThruNite I had was like this and it wasn't my favorite. And that is, it goes low, medium, high. I prefer medium to be the initial setting. On the Meritac, medium is your initial setting, and the other light that I also carry a lot is the little Olight i3S EOS. That one also starts off on medium. This one goes medium, high, low, and these go medium, low, high. Either way, start me off on medium because that's the most useful to me. This one starts you off on low, and its low is very low. It's like a moonlight low. It's like, I think it's even called moonlit or something. It's a half a lumen, and I honestly, it has its uses. It's great to have. It's just not my default setting. It's not the first thing I want on. I don't want to have to cycle through two or three things to get to it. Or to get to what I want. So it does that is your main setting. Then here is your medium, which is, I think, significantly. Of course, it depends on battery life. Let me try the. Yeah. This I think the Meritac's around 40. So I think this is more around 12 or something. I don't remember. But by now you guys already know because Bert's told you. And then of course that's medium, and then high is the coup de grace, the killer 162 lumens, which is awesome. It really is. That said, like I said, that user interface is not my favorite. I prefer it would start off on medium. I actually really like, ultimately I like this best. Medium, low, and then high. That's probably my preferred order of the interface. Another element about this, though, that is not my favorite is the fact that it's the feel of the interface, the actual function of turning the light on and off is very gritty. You take actually either one of these two, and it's just butter smooth. These turn, their interfaces turn, and they're just butter, and wherever they come on at the same spot and the same feel, you can predict. They just have a feel, and that's how they are, and they work. But they have this real hydraulic, almost Sebenza-like feel to them, if you're familiar with how a Sebenza closes. This feels like there's grit inside of it. It's very gritty, and it's very imprecise as to where it opens or doesn't open, and you can kind of land it even in between. There's the hidden mode, there, strobe, which is kind of cool. Like right there, it's not coming on, but you got it still not coming on. Okay, I had to crank it all the way, so now I had to turn all that far to get that to come on. Other times it'll come on fine. So it's very imprecise in the amount of tension and where it comes on, and so you never really know when you're going to use this whether or not it's going to turn on for you or not. And frankly, it's very disconcerting, and you'll turn it and it won't come on. You go, what the heck? You'll look at it and then bang, it'll blind you. It'll suddenly come on, kind of a delayed thing, and I don't know. It's very aggravating, to be honest with you. Carrying this knife is frustrating, and I don't know that it's got a long shelf life for me. I may move this thing along down the line. Now you could say, oh, you just must have got a bad one. Well, maybe, but honestly, that's exactly the way the aluminum one was as well. I found it to be the exact same thing. It was all gritty. Now I have taken this off, and I've cleaned this really well and even put lube in here. I got some frog lube in here. I've done everything I can do to try to make this thing nice and get this action smoothed up, and it just doesn't, which is a shame because I really want to love this flashlight. I want to love this flashlight, but I just don't. If it was the only light I had and I'd never had another small little AAA flashlight, and somebody gave me this or I picked one of these up, I'd probably be fine with it. I'd be like, oh, it's really cool. Well, what do you expect for a little light, and I would be okay with it. But once you've handled these other two, which it's competing directly against, that's kind of tough because these things are just extremely predictable, extremely solid performers, and these are great. These are kind of the standard for EDC AAA flashlights, in my opinion. Now you get your 4.7s, which are nice too. They're a little bit more money. I actually don't prefer the 4.7s, the small, what's it called? I don't remember now, the small one, just the single AAA off the top of my head. I have one of those as well. I actually gave it to my wife. She keeps it in her purse. But the case doesn't have any knurling or anything milled into it, to the outer case, so it's just this smooth aluminum, and honestly, very smooth. I've dropped that flashlight on more than one occasion, so just don't dig it. So these guys are kind of the standard in my book. This one I wanted to take over and be my number one light, but honestly I don't see that happening. I'm going to keep it for a while and keep carrying it to see if I can get through it and see if this breaks in maybe. I don't know. Again, there we go. I turned that to where it should have lit up, and it didn't. And as I was disengaging it, then it lit up. So it lit so I went past where it should have lit up, and it didn't light up, and then as I was going back around this way, then it lit up. So you can see that there's just some imprecise electronics going on in there or something. I don't know. It's just, like I say, there again. I turned it didn't come on. I'm giving it negative pressure now, turning it off, and it's coming on. So it's very, very frustrating little light. This thing should have been awesome, and it's just not. Now, I've seen some other reviews where people have just raved on it. Maybe I got a bad one. I don't know. That grittiness is the way my other one was, so I'm pretty sure that's just the way they are. If you've handled these two, and you handled it, and you have one of these also, and yours isn't gritty, and you know what these feel like, then by all means chime in below, because maybe I just got one that's not great. But based on, I'm 2 for 2 now with that feel in these things, both with the aluminum and the titanium. So, kind of got to wonder. From a light perspective, on high, the 162 lumens is nice. This is 138 lumens. This is the Rev 3. And you don't notice a whole bunch of difference in those lumens, in a dark room, shining in them at a wall as far as overall brightness. This one has a broader pattern, so you get greater illumination. This one's a little bit narrower. It's not narrow by any stretch, but it's narrower than this. So it's a little more focused. So this diffuses a little bit, so those lumens are spent on the edges, giving you a broader light pattern, whereas this one's not quite as broad, so your lumens are more focused in that regard. Still not a beam by any stretch. It's pretty wide anyway. But if you're just shining the two, you don't really necessarily notice it. You just get more overall coverage with this one. From that perspective, it's really nice. If I was just looking for maximum light in a given instance, I definitely would grab this one. But the odds of this one being in my pocket any given day are significantly less than I thought they would be. I'm really still favoring these two. Actually, I have multiples of the little, and I've done a video on this before, on my little Olights. I love these guys. And I love this too. And I need to do a separate review of this. This is the second one of these. Third one, actually. I had a Rev 2, and then I bought a Rev 3, lost it, and I bought another Rev 3. And because this one's frustrated me, I've gone ahead and decided, what the heck, I popped for, just earlier today, from CountyCom, ordered the copper version of the Maritac Rev 3. So that will probably become my high-end light instead of this one. I'm going to give this one some time, like I said, and see if it breaks in and becomes a better light. But its user interfaces, both from the order of the beams and from the tactile feel and response of the twist head, is not great. So it's hard to be a bummer on you, but if you're thinking about spending the $29.95 on one of these, I got mine on eBay, by the way, direct from China. I'm sure they make them. If you are thinking about getting one of these, it's just something to be aware of. So I would recommend spending the extra money and just getting the Maritac, or saving some money and getting one of these instead. Just what I would recommend. ThruNite's just not 2 for 2 for me, not being that impressed with their product. But hey, we all have our own experiences. And as I always say, that's 1 ounce 2 cents. Keep the change. Sláinte.